Good morning everyone. This is Professor Sunita Patnaik and today we are going to start with the new chapter number 2, reproduction in lower and higher animals. Previously we have completed our chapter 1, which was reproduction in lower and higher plants. But today we are going to begin with the new chapter, reproduction in lower and higher animals. Now, what is reproduction? Reproduction is defined as the biological process of formation of new life forms from pre-existing similar life. In this chapter, we will learn about the human reproductive system, gametogenesis and fertilization, early embryology, parturition, and reproductive health. So, there are two methods in reproduction in animals, asexual and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is mostly seen in lower animals, whereas sexual reproduction is found in higher animals. Asexual reproduction does not involve meiotic divisions. Sexual reproduction involves meiotic divisions. Asexual reproduction, where only single parent is involved and there is no formation or fusion of gametes. Whereas sexual reproduction, there are two parents, a male and a female parent are involved, and formation and fusion of gametes takes place. Asexual reproduction basically has three modes of reproduction: gamete formation, budding, and regeneration. Gamete formation. Now, gamete is an internal bud formed only in sponges like Spongilla. It is a method of asexual reproduction which are capable of developing into new organism, and it is known as gamete. Gamete is nothing but an aggregate of cell called archaeocytes. It is a stage formed under unfavorable conditions. On reaching favorable condition, they grow and develop into new individual. This is known as gamete formation. Budding. Budding is mostly found in coelenterids like hydra and corals. In hydra, a small outgrowth is produced towards the basal end of the body. Here you can see in hydra, a bud is formed, a small outgrowth is produced which grows and forms tentacles and develops into a new individual. Later on, it detached from the parental body and lead an individual life. This is known as budding. There is another method of asexual reproduction which may not be a reproduction method because it is found in lower and also in higher animals. Regeneration. Repair, regrow or restore of any lost or damaged part is known as regeneration. It is found in hydra and also in planaria and in some starfishes, where a lost part or a damaged part is regenerated. Now coming to sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction is a process which involves the production of offspring by the formation and fusion of gametes. It is also called amphimixis. Sexual reproduction is animals particularly show two phases during lifetime. First, the juvenile phase, which involves the physical growth. Second is the reproductive maturity phase, which involves growth and activity of sex organs. So in this chapter, we are going to study human reproduction. Humans also involve sexual reproduction. In human reproduction, the process of reproduction involves steps like gametogenesis, insemination, internal fertilization, zygote formation, and embryogenesis, gestation and parturition. The gametes like sperms and eggs are produced by the primary sex organs, testes in male and ovary in female. And in this chapter, we are going to study in detail the male gonad and the female gonad, including the male reproductive system and the female reproductive system. First, we will start with, in this today's lecture, we are going to study the male reproductive system. The male reproductive system consists of a pair of testes, accessory ducts, epididymis, vasa deferens, and ejaculatory duct, glands like the seminal vesicles, the prostate gland, bulbourethral glands, and the penis. Testes, the male gonads, begin the development high in the abdominal cavity near the kidneys. During the last month before birth or shortly after birth, they descend through the inguinal canal into the scrotum. Scrotum is a pouch that extends below the abdomen. Although the location of the testes outside the abdominal cavity, it may seem to make them vulnerable to injury. It provides a temperature about 3 degrees Celsius below normal temperature. This lower temperature is necessary for the production of viable sperm. Here you can see the section of testis. The structure of testis. The histological structure, each testis is an oval structure about 5 cm long and 3 cm in diameter. A tough, white, fibrous connective tissue capsule, the tunica albuginea, surrounds each testis and extends inward to form septa that partition the organ into lobules. There are about 250 lobules in each testis. Each lobule contains 1 to 4 highly coiled seminiferous tubules that converge to form a single straight tubule, which leads into a retestis. Short efferent ducts exit the testis. Interstitial cells, or the cells of the Leydig, which produce male sex hormones that are located between the seminiferous tubules within a lobule. Here you can see the seminiferous tubules the cross section of the seminiferous tubules, the epididymis, the vasa deferens. The structure of testis is shown here. These are the accessory ducts. Accessory ducts includes the epididymis, ductus deferens, also known as vas deferens, ejaculatory duct, and the urethra. Epididymis, the sperm leave the testis through the series of efferent ducts that enter the epididymis. Each epididymis is long about 6 meters tube that is tightly coiled to form an organ located along the superior and posterior margins of the testis. When the sperm leave the testis, they are immature and incapable of fertilizing ova. Ductus deferens or the vasa deferens is a fibromuscular tube that is continuous with the epididymis. It begins at the bottom ejaculatory duct. Each ductus deferens at the ampulla joins the duct from the adjacent seminal vesicle to form a short ejaculatory duct. Each ejaculatory duct passes through the prostate gland and empties into the urethra. The urethra extends from the urinary bladder to the external urethral orifice at the tip of the penis. It is a passageway for sperm and fluids from the reproductive system and urine from the urinary system. The male urethra is divided into three regions. The prostatic urethra, which is the proximal part, membranous urethra, which is the short regions through the pelvic floor, the ejaculatory duct, where the sperm and the secretions of the seminal vesicles, and the longest portion is the penile urethra, which extends the length of the penis and opens to the outside at the external urethral orifice. The ducts from the bulbourethral glands open into the penile urethra. The accessory glands. As we have discussed, accessory ducts and glands are important in male reproductive system. The accessory glands of the male reproductive system are the seminal vesicles, prostate gland, and the bulbourethral or the Cowper's gland. These glands secrete fluids that enter the urethra. Seminal vesicles are the saccular glands posterior to the urinary bladder, and each gland has a short duct that joins the ductus deferens at the ampulla to form an ejaculatory duct, which then empties into the urethra. The fluid from the seminal vesicles is viscous and contains fructose, which provides an energy source for the sperm, prostaglandins, which contribute to the mobility and viability of the sperms. The prostate gland is a firm, dense structure that is located just inferior to the urinary bladder. It is about the size of a walnut and encircles the urethra as it leaves the urinary bladder. Numerous short ducts from the substance of the prostate gland empty into the prostatic urethra. The secretions of the prostate are thin, milky colored and alkaline. They function to enhance the motility of the sperm. Bulbourethral glands or the Cowper's glands are small, around size of a pea, and located near the base of the penis. A short duct from each gland enters the proximal end of the penile urethra. In response to sexual stimulation, these glands secrete an alkaline mucus-like fluid. They neutralize the acidity of the urine residue in the urethra and help to neutralize the acidity of the vagina and provide some lubrication for the penis during intercourse. Seminal fluid. Seminal fluid is an alkaline mixture of sperm cells and secretions from the accessory glands. Secretions make up about 60% of the volume of the semen. The sperm and the secretions from the bulbourethral gland contribute only a small volume. It may vary around 1.5 to 6 ml for single ejaculation, and they may contain around 50 to 150 million sperm per milliliter of semen. The count of the sperm usually represent the fertility. If the count is below 10 to 20 million per milliliter, then there may arise some infertility problems. Now coming to the external genitalia. The external genitalia is the penis, which is the male copulatory organ, is a cylindrical pendant organ located anterior to the scrotum and functions to transfer sperm to the vagina. The penis consists of 3 columns of erectile tissue that are wrapped in connective tissue and covered with the skin. The 2 dorsal columns are the corpora cavernosa, and the mid middle line is the ventral column surrounds the urethra and is called the corpus spongiosum. The penis has a root, the shaft, the body, and the glans penis. The root of the penis attaches it to the pubic arch, and the body is the visible pendant portion. The corpus spongiosum expands at the distal end to form the glans penis. The urethra, which extends throughout the length of the corpus spongiosum, opens through the external urethral orifice at the tip of the glans penis. A loose fold of skin called the prepuce or the foreskin covers the glans penis. Here in this table you can see the organs, their location, whether they are internal or external genitalia, and their functions, as scrotum, which is an external genitalia, it supports the testes and regulates the temperature. Penis is also an external genitalia which delivers the urine and the copulatory organ. Testes, which is an internal genitalia, produce sperm and male hormones. Seminal vesicles, prostate glands and Cowper's glands, these all are glands which are internal genitalia and they contribute to semen production. Here I have labeled the diagram. This is your homework. You have to draw the male reproductive system and label it. The vasa deferens, the Cowper's gland, urinary bladder, seminal vesicle, the prostate gland, urethra, penis, and the rectum. This is the reproductive system of human male. The same diagram, human reproductive system, the male reproductive system. This is a table showing function of some of the male and female hormones. Female hormones, which we are going to study in the next lecture, is also tabulated here. You can note down in your notebook. Thank you so much. We will start with the next lecture with the female reproductive system. Thank you.